Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. And in this video, I'm going to be reiterating some points I made during a recent live stream when somebody asked me a very interesting question, but not a unique question, a question that I get pretty often in my email inbox. Usually when somebody sends me a demo, an album that they just made that they produced at home, a song, a mixtape of something, usually they're looking for some kind of feedback on that, which typically I don't give because literally it's like trying to write a review specifically for your thing. And I probably got a lot blocked out that day. So it is hard to kind of do individual reviews of every single project that lands in my inbox. I mean, I would say if you send me something, send it because you think it's as professional grade or as good as anything else I would review, not because it's just some demo or whatever. But also on top of that, people are asking me when they send this stuff over, based on what you're hearing here, should I keep making music? Should I keep making music? I mean, I'm sorry, I have to laugh a little bit at that because, I mean, I know that you guys watch my videos. I know you guys put a lot of stock into some of the things that I say. But here's the thing, that is not a decision I can make for you, nor is that a decision I want to make for you. Because being a musician, especially being a good musician, being good at anything, really, it's a journey. I mean, think of all the people out there who are great currently or who are seen as groundbreakers, originators, people who have made some of the best of the best of the best, like Aphex Twin, or let's say all the guys in King Crimson, or let's say Frank Zappa. And I'm not even going to continue listing because the list is irrelevant. My point is this. You don't think there's a point where all those people fucking sucked? You don't think there's a point where all those people were bad? You think, like, Frank Zappa just picked up the guitar one day and was like, holy shit, here we are. He just picked it up for the first time and Hot Rats came out? Come on, man. Everybody sucks at some point. Sure, there are some people out there who have natural talent at a particular thing, but that doesn't necessarily make those people great at everything. You know what I mean? Everybody has shortcomings in some kind of way, and people are not just freaking music gods, just straight out of the womb. So that's my first point. So I mean, you may be at that point where you do stink, where you are bad. But maybe you will get to a point where you are good. I cannot predict that for you. There are artists and albums I hear all the time where I'm like, hey, that's pretty good, or that's got potential. And 2 or 3 years down the road, they've disappeared off the map. Their next record sucks for whatever reason, or something else happens that prevents that potential from being fully achieved. There's no truly predicting any of this stuff, even with people who are signed to labels, have a very clear, measurable baseline of talent, people who, for all intents and purposes, should not be falling short of the marker, but however they do anyway. So there's that. The second thing is that what should be driving you to make music is that you're so passionate about it that even if people did not pay you to make it, you'd be making it anyway. You would be making it anyway, because you're just having fun making it. And if you're not having fun making it, if you're not passionate about making it, you're not going to be driven to be good at it. If all that's going to be driving you to be good at it is being famous and being perceived as one of the greatest and having all the limelight on you and being successful, do you have any good musicians I know who aren't in the industry? Do you have any good musicians I've met who are great guitar players? They're gigging every weekend and maybe like a cover band that they started with their friends or whatever, or maybe they just have like a cool local band going, and that's just their passion. That's just their side thing. It's just their hobby. Being paid to be a musician does not necessarily mean you are a bad musician, or rather what I'm trying to say here is being a paid musician, or rather not being paid as a musician, doesn't mean you're a bad musician or that you're not talented, because a lot of what makes people famous in the music industry has little to do with talent. I think that case could be made pretty easily in 2018. So you could be an incredibly talented and a great musician and never be signed, never have a commercial record release, or rather, I guess it's easier than ever to do that because you can just release your own shit independently, digitally on the internet. But, let's throw it back to a time where that would be an impossibility. You could be a great musician, super talented at your instrument, but hey, maybe you were never in a band that had a good songwriter, or, you never met the right A&R person, and blah, 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 blah. Like, it just kind of is what it is. Some people make it and some people don't. I get that there are talented people in the industry, and getting into the industry and being successful in it takes hard work, and people who are in there are there because they've made the moves that they've made. However, just like, let's say if your goal in life is to be an NBA player, like there's only a certain amount of slots in that industry that people can be worked in. And the music industry, it's a little bit more amorphous. There's a little bit more wiggle room. There's new scenes and new artists popping up all the time. So you never know who's going to blow up. However, a lot of what keeps people in the spots and in the positions that they're in is that they do have support from independent or major record labels or PR firms that help get their name out there and help push their projects out there and help continue to spread awareness about that particular artist. So, it's not just merely this, hey, they got famous and they just stayed famous because that's how fame works. No, it's not like that. So listen, you can't just because you picked up an instrument start instantly putting this pressure on yourself. Like, okay, now that I've picked up this guitar, I've got to be really successful at it. I've got to be the best songwriter. I've got to be the best guitar player. I've got to become famous. I've got to become successful at it. Because if I don't become a career musician, I'm a failure as a musician. I've failed as a musician. Like, that's such a bullshit mindset. Like, that means that means there are countless, like tens of thousands, if not millions of musicians out there who are total failures because they're not famous and they're not fucking playing on the stage at Coachella. Like, come on, man. Oh, God. Make music because you like making music. Make music because you're passionate about making music. However it is you want to make it. Whatever your instrument preference is, whatever your genre preference is, make music because you care about making music and you're passionate about music and you have a good time making it. You have a good time making it with your friends. And, just don't put this ridiculous pressure on yourself. You don't have to turn it into this thing where you're miserable about it because you've decided that it's no longer a fun thing to do. Back in the day, when there was no industry, and there were actually probably very little in the way of actual instruments too, humanity, primitive man, started making music, and not because they thought they would get signed to RCA, not because they thought that they'd be playing the main stage at I don't know, whatever music festival you want to list there. They did it just because there was a feeling, there was a desire, there was a passion, there was a creative need, an itch to satisfy. So, if you want to make music, make it to satisfy that itch. And yeah, that's it. I'm gonna leave it at that. And hey, listen, I'm not knocking anybody's hustle or saying that people can't try to be successful in the music industry and try to become a world famous artist, but the thing is, everybody has to start somewhere. Okay, everybody has to start somewhere, and if you don't have, I guess, sort of an incubation period in your life, in your journey as a musician, where you're just playing to play, you're just playing to learn, you're just playing to hone skills, you're just playing and recording to contribute to your abilities and to your style as an artist, as a musician, to kind of gain experience. If you don't have that period and you're just trying to get famous right from out of the gate, like you are preventing yourself from an important part. You're preventing yourself from going through an important part of the creative process and through the artistic process, and that's just the process of finding yourself and gaining your footing. Because if you don't go through that moment, if you don't go through that evolution period, you're going to throw yourself potentially into a situation where you're not really going to have any other choice but to just kind of go along with whatever the trend is, go along with what other people are telling you should do, say, think, and sound like, because you don't really have a sound or a personality or an idea in your own head. So I'm going to leave it at that. You guys are the best. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you got something out of this video. And make music because you want to make it. Make music because you want to make it.